Hello and good morning. Sorry, I'm just finishing up some breaky fast. Whew. How's everyone doing? I won't be on for too long because I need to, get to work and all that stuff because I'm a working class girly. But I want to start off with just a couple things. So I don't think that's even helping. So before I'm not gonna, you know what? Hold on. I can't English. Hold on a second. So today I'm going to be breaking down some just small headlines of kind of a perfect encapsulation of what this era is like. And then I might talk a little bit more about why the government is actually shut down. I just posted a video to my main page. And also I posted a few different shorts. So I appreciate every single one of you. There's no one in the live stream just yet, which is interesting. That all being said, we'll see how that all turns out. So, I definitely ate my breakfast way too fast. I was like, nom, 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 nom. Good morning, Akicha. Hello. Hello. I think it's so funny the way that I say hello in the mornings. If you're like, yeah, why do you say it like that? Like, why do you say, hello? So in high school, there was this girl that I knew, and she always used to say hello, and I always thought it was like the funniest thing ever. So I've started saying it. And also it reminds me of that Vine that went with that one college professor that would go, hello, 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 hello. You know that one? Where it's like someone filmed their professor coming in every day saying the same, like, hello. And it was just so funny. You go, hello. So anyway, whew. So I'm not going to be on for too long. I'm probably going to cut it off in about 25 minutes or so. That all being said, I appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to break down some of this morning's headlines, and I titled this live Another Day in the USA, which God help us. But I'm going to be breaking down some of the latest headlines here, and starting off with some small things, and then I will do a quick little synopsis on why the government is shut down. So I'm going to be talking about like what the core dispute is, what the main reason is here. So as I was scrolling through today's morning headlines, I saw this. Trump says, quote, "There's no reason to be good except to get into heaven." Now, I am not sure where I am at with my spiritual journey, in all honesty. I grew up in a very Christian family, and it was also pretty conservative as well. And I have many issues with organized religion. I think that also religion has been hijacked by people to spew really, really awful things throughout history. I mean, they declared the Holocaust happened under the guise of Christianity. So it's important to delineate that, with all of that, religion has been used as a conduit to do the most unforgivable things, So I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure to send some likes. Let me break all this down here. So this is just a fun little quip that happened yesterday. And this kind of tells us a little bit more about just Donald Trump's character, the character of our president. And you're like, oh, you're taking him out of context. I'll put him in the full context here, and you can decide for yourself. Trump says that there's no reason to be good except to get into heaven. So what was this all about? How did this all start? So apparently there's some sort of prayer initiative that I think he's trying to do. I am not sure what that initiative is, but the reporter was saying, hey, can you tell us more about it? And Trump says, we're dealing with, as you know, with all different with all different, not just evangelical Christians. We're dealing with a lot of religions. You know, he talks about, you know, how, you know, if we don't have a faith as a country, then it's going to be hard to be a good country, is what he says. So then he goes on to specifically state, you know, there's no good reason to be good. There's no good reason to be good. I want to be good because you want to prove to God that you're good, so you get to go to the next step, right? So that's very important to me, and I think it's very important. Now pause. Righteousness is not is the idea of, oh, I'm going to be a good person just so that I can get to the next step. Then you're not doing it for the real good reason. Like, if you are deciding to be a good person because you want to be rewarded, then you're not doing it for the right reason. I grew up in a very Christian family. This kind of thing, if I were to say that in front of my mom, she would literally, like, bless her heart, she would freak out. Because here's the thing, you don't be a good person so that you can go around and be like, oh, look at me, I'm fantastic, I'm incredible, I'm outstanding, everyone loves me, I'm doing this so that I can get this. You don't be a good person so you can be rewarded. You're a good person for the purpose of being a good person, engaging in other people's lives, being empathetic, understanding their causes, or maybe if you don't fully understand, willing to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Being a good person, not to amplify yourself or your status, but to be a good person for the purpose of humanity. What would Donald Trump know about that? He wouldn't know anything about it, because this is the kind of crap that he says all the time. He says there's no reason to be good. How about because you should? You should be a good person. You should be kind. You should be empathetic. You should not spew hate. Now, there are other people in this country that are pro-hate, like the far right-wing MAGA. Like, they're the ones that all the time are trying to take away healthcare from people and then claim that they're the ones that have the moral high ground. Girl. I'm not trying to take away anyone's healthcare, yet you think that I'm the most hateful person. It's like you said, no, I don't need my brain. That's fine. But just putting it out in full perspective here, he's basically saying this, and some of these comments got it spot on. Imagine not thinking about the impact that doing/being good can have on other people. Psychotic egomaniacs have no concept of other people having any feelings or anything else valid. Very true. It just goes to the character. God saved me so I could take healthcare from millions of poor people. Facts. If you need the threat of hell to be a good person, then you're just a bad person on a leash. That is a very well said statement there. We secular humanists do the right thing because it is fundamentally ethical, not because we believe that Sky Daddy will reveal it for us. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you what to believe regarding religion. That's not the point. The point is, for the people that claim to be the most Christian evangelicals that are a part of MAGA, you are a living embodiment of hypocrisy and not even attempting to be good, because what you're supporting is some of the most bigoted crap ever, and someone who talks about, oh, I only need to be good so I can get into heaven. Not, oh, I'm going to be a good person for the purpose of being a good person because it's morally right and it's ethical. And see, this just goes to the exact, this is so quintessential, the whole Trump sphere. This is exactly what America is going through right now. America is living through a period of existential hypocrisy where Christians are having to justify doing the most unforgivable, irreconcilable stuff and also do it under the guise of Christianity. It's just sick to me. It's sick to me that people cannot just be good people for the purpose of being a nice person. And I'm saying that all of this at the same time that I have the chat hidden away. So if you're one of these people that's trying to get my attention screaming at the top of your keister, I'm not seeing it. Because I will guarantee that there's a lot of people in here that are just being obnoxious, trying to make fun of my voice, my appearance, calling me zesty, calling me gay, which isn't an insult, or zesty. That's actually a compliment. Thank you. It's just, there are people who have nothing else better to do than to put out anger and hate in the world. We're all Americans. We're all humans. We're all in this together. The fact that there are some people who are so committed to an ideology of anger and hate and division, it's so frustrating to me. And in this country, you have our president actively talking about trying to, I'm trying to get into heaven, but he's not being a good person. And also he's like, yeah, there's no reason to be a good person except to get this. I'm sorry, but transactional Christianity is a fraud. It just is. Transactional Christianity is a fraud. For you to think, I'm going to be a good person so I can get into heaven? No. You be a good person because that's what you should morally do. Being a good person means that you do not look down on the oppressed. Being a good person means that you welcome the stranger. You welcome the undocumented immigrant. You extend a helping hand to them. You understand their plight, or you at least empathize with their plight. It's just disgusting how religion has been hijacked to spew the most hateful, awful things in that sense too. But this is just quintessential Trump era. To continue onward with the quintessential Trump era crap, this is another thing. This just really also shows the times that we're living through. While on Jesse Waters' show, or whatever, on Fox with Jesse Waters, Trump official boasts America now in an era of real masculinity, thanks to muscular president. What is real masculinity? That's the question of the day right now. It's a question of the moment. What is real masculinity versus the fake masculinity? Makes me wonder. So she goes, what a difference a presidency makes, Jesse. I mean, we're all now totally over that destructive, stupid era of toxic masculinity. And now we're in an era of real masculinity, thanks to the bold, muscular leadership of President Trump and our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Okay, let me just, so I'm wondering what her definition of toxic masculinity and real masculinity are. You want to know my definition of masculinity? It can be physical, talking about what you got down there, your biology, or if you're talking about more of like the male gender role action masculinity, means standing up for people, standing up for the lesser fortunate. Real masculinity means that you can stand up to bullies, meaning that you can stand up for what is right morally, protecting your family, but also bringing harmony, community, being a breadwinner, and actually going out and fostering a sense of community. Real masculinity is not putting down a gay person or a trans person simply because they're different. Real masculinity is what the hero from the Club Q shooting in Colorado Springs did. If you all remember the Club Q shooting that was at, Club Q was a gay bar, I think in Colorado Springs. I'm pretty sure I have all those details correct. The shooter in that instance was tackled by, I believe, a straight military vet and disarmed by that guy. An ally to the community. That's real masculinity there. Real masculinity doesn't flaunt around talking about how they're real men either. You know the same people that are always talking about how they're not gay? guess what? I'm saying this as a gay person. They're gay. The people that are always having to talk about, oh, I'm an empath, or I'm a good person, or blah, 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 blah. They're the ones that are truly not. The same people that over obsess about something, secretly you're doing it. That's just how it is. So for the people that are thinking, like, you know those folks that are like, I'm a real man, I'm a real man, I'm a real man. And then you ask them to use your preferred pronouns, and then they're like, ah! Real masculinity is not getting upset over someone's pronouns. Real masculinity is not getting upset that a trans person exists, or a gay person exists, or is asking for respect. Real masculinity is not getting angry over an undocumented person just trying to live their life, minding their own business. Real masculinity is not feeling so threatened by every tiny little thing. Real masculinity is standing up to bullies. Real masculinity is saying, no, we're not going to tolerate the intolerable, I should say. Going on, oh, we have a super chat here. Super chat. Aw, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate every single one of you. Aw, thank you. So, going forward, someone says, you're a clown. Bless your heart. That's not even the right you're. Sad days. But then goes on to say, yeah, thanks to the bold, muscular leadership of President Trump. Now, truly, in a candid way, I don't think that she was trying to relate to the physicality of Donald Trump being muscular. I think she was using muscular as an adjective to describe the leadership. Though, it can definitely be argued or seen that she was commenting on a physical appearance. I'm not quite sure. I think she was saying the bold, muscular leadership as describing his leadership as bold and muscular. But also at the same time, I don't know, like, why you would use that as an adjective unless you meant it in a physical sense. But this is the kind of crap that goes on all day on the Fox propaganda network, because they have to use all of these emotionally charged buzzwords in order to, like, I don't know, drive some sort of point home. And, let me just get to the comments. This person said, the guy with 17 pounds of makeup, shoe lifts, and a girdle is truly setting an example, all right. Now, pause. Don't be coming for anyone that wears makeup. I mean, I'm just commenting as someone who obviously doesn't wear any. But Trump's ICE is getting caught beating up women quite regularly. Yeah, real masculine stuff. Yeah, if you want to talk about masculinity, it's not ICE thugs going around wearing masks, afraid to show their own face, beating up women or kids or tear gassing them like we're seeing in Chicago. Real masculinity is standing up for what is right. It's not brutalizing people. Real masculinity is fostering community and fostering strength and peace. Real masculinity is promoting collaboration, standing up to threats like what ICE is doing. ICE tear gassed the CPD, but then also in elementary school, like kids in the elementary school. It's just so sad what all is going on. I wanted to report on it this morning, but I'm just gonna wait for another 24 hours until we know more about everything happening there. It's just crazy. And because of their failures in life, they continue their alpha dominance with fulfillment in life. I think that's right on the money, but it's also true of all fascist movements in history. That all, heard someone say the MAGA movement made up of sad, weak-minded outcasts seeking importance and fulfillment. I think that's also very true. Real men don't fear imaginary enemies like Antifa or hippies or the deep state. You know what's so funny? There's this idea that, oh my god, Antifa is out to get everyone. Antifa is just an identity. It's kind of more of just a gag at this point. There's no, like, organized Antifa meetings. Not that I know of, otherwise I'd be there. You know, it's just like the idea that Antifa is some sort of organized group is just kind of silly. And it's also funny because, again, the people that talk a lot about masculinity and obsess over it all the time, like Jesse Waters, yeah, that's the person. Like, Waters sure does spend a lot of time talking about masculinity. If you're the kind of person that over obsesses all the time about emphasizing how masculine you are or how not gay you are, it's like, you're obviously telling on yourself. You really are. You know? By muscular, she means enlarged cankles. Well, I guess you can't argue with that. And we want to talk about this moment further. Benny Johnson, a far right-wing fascist, propagandist, posted an AI video that of him basically beating up immigrants. And this also included I can't play the video for you all. This also included a moment where there's this immigrant in the AI video that was getting beat up. I took a picture right as it was doing that. Real masculinity is not posting an AI video of yourself showing how much of a masculine strongman you are by beating up women. That's cuck behavior. It really is. It's cuck behavior. It's disgraceful. I don't know how else to break that all down. Like, and this is the thing, we all know that Benny Johnson is a closeted gay. There's so much evidence to kind of point to that. But that doesn't matter too much to me. It's more about the fact, like, it doesn't matter to me at all, in fact. It's more about the fact that he constantly fearmongers and throws his community under the bus. It's just disgusting to me. See, this is why we can't have nice things in America. Because you have people that post this kind of crap. They call themselves alpha males, then they create an AI video of them beating up women. It's just disgusting. It's I don't think that it's up for debate even. What Benny Johnson released is vile. There's nothing funny, edgy, or political about digitally creating or promoting a video of yourself beating up immigrants, including a woman. It's depraved propaganda, pure and simple. Think if the shoe was on the other foot, and this was, I don't know, someone like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert doing this kind of thing. You think it would be okay? No. The right likes to make everything about it being this different sides. Whereas a lot of people are always arguing, no, it's about morality, it's about ethics, it's about, like, what's right, what's factually accurate. It's so frustrating that this has to even be a discussion. Benny Johnson gets off on the idea of brutally bashing a woman in the face. Very Christian, very MAGA. Be sure to show that at your next Turning Point gig. And I think this is why you see a big turn away from religion, especially organized religion. Because a lot of people who espouse that they are the most Christian people often turn out to be the most unchristian-like people. Because in the Bible, it talks about stuff like this. When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself. For you are foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. There's also other specific verses talking about loving your neighbor as yourself. Seek to be last, not first. There are so many people who are using religion as some sort of moral high ground when their book contradicts every single action item that they have. All these far right-wing Christians, it's less about Christianity and more about the culture. See, and that's the thing. This is why people are so wanting to distance themselves from organized religion in this sense. Because right-wing Christianity, it's not about what's in the Bible. They don't even know what's in the Bible. It's more about the culture of being, I'm a right-wing Christian, I love my Lord Savior. It's like you don't even realize that Jesus was a woke, brown guy. He was, like, he was not white, even though a lot of right-wing evangelicals like to whitewash it over, making him try to appear white. It's just frustrating in that way. You know, like, if you're one of these people that's a part of the MAGA cult, I don't truly understand how they're able to delineate their faith and their faith of what they believe and following this kind of guy. But I can also understand it fully. You know why? Because they don't see it as a problem. They don't see it as clashing. They don't see their faith as clashing with all the horrible, morally outrageous crap that Trump does. Because they find a way to dissociate and twist themselves into justifying it. I was raised in that kind of culture. The answer is that it doesn't make sense. People are just told what to believe, and they believe out of desperation. I was raised as a very Christian, conservative, Southern guy. I was close to being an altar boy. This stuff is very real. It's very real. And if you're someone on the outside that's like, how can people reconcile supporting someone like Donald Trump, who does the most morally outrageous things, and then also call themselves Christians? It's because they're obsessed with the idea of the Christian culture. They can rationalize around all the awful things that he does, if it means continuing to be part of that community. It's human psychology. Have you ever been so motivated to be a part of a group that you do things that you don't even realize that you'd ever do? Like, it's this whole idea of being in the in group. A lot of conservative Christians are less focused on what's in the Bible and more around what's around the Bible, meaning the community that they're in. They're obsessed with the status of it, the culture of it. It's not about the actual living word itself. I'm surprised that they haven't tried to rewrite the Bible at this point. I'm surprised that they haven't tried to rewrite it, because if they were to actually open it up, they would see that everything that Donald Trump is a living contradiction of what Jesus taught about. But then again, religion has been hijacked as a conduit to justify, to attempt to justify the most irreconcilable things, like the Holocaust. And the fact that people like Benny Johnson are putting forward these AI videos, this is the kind of stuff that we'll look back in history and we'll see. Take yourself out of this moment and put yourself 20, 30 years ahead, whatever that future looks like. I know that if I'm alive, I'm going to be looking back on this moment with pride, knowing that I was standing up against authoritarianism, fascism, and hate. Because I truly believe that everyone in this country deserves life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Everyone deserves security. Everyone deserves healthcare as a human right, whether you're documented or not. Because let's all be real. All of us are foreigners on native land right now, because all this land belonged to the Native Americans, and we displaced them in a genocide, pushed them further east, or further west, I'm sorry. Like, it's just, the cruelty is what gets to me. And it's so funny because there are some conservatives that are going to be like, well, why can't you just tolerate it? Why you promote a whole culture of tolerance and tolerance and tolerance. I don't know if you understand. Tolerating intolerance goes against the entire idea and goal of tolerance. So it's just funny that, like, even when I lay it out like this, there are going to be people that are like, oh my God, you're not tolerant. I'm not going to tolerate misogyny, racism, sexism, or, you know, oppression based on someone's, like, discrimination on socioeconomic status. I'm not going to tolerate Republicans trying to cut the health care of low-income people.